Hey, I got a question for you before you pass. Can a fish like a dolphin live on dry land? And if it can, how long can that fish hold on dry land? That's my question. Can a fish live on dry land? I've taken the example of a dolphin. If it can live on dry land, how long will it hold it down on dry land? How long can it live on dry land? Can the fish, to escape a threat in the water, for example, decide to live on dry land? And will that fish survive on dry land for how long? Can the fish, just to enjoy life, because the fish has noticed that, men, like the dolphin, some people go and play with dolphins and then they come back to their homes and do other stuff. Can that dolphin notice that? Because dolphin is quite intelligent and say, well, guess what? These guys are really enjoying the dry land. They do a lot of stuff. They drive, electrical vehicles and good stuff like that. They fly on airplanes and stuff. Let me also go and start living just on dry land and the fish relocate from the waters to dry land. Is it possible? And if it's possible, how long is going to live? So this was the question I had for you. Please, as you're thinking about that, I want you also to think about the fact that we in our society today, we have a situation that's almost like the fish situation, trying to live on the dry land. Now, listen to me, hear me out. What is going to happen to that fish if the fish come into dry land? Like a dolphin. The dolphin can actually hold a little bit on dry land. That dolphin will hold for some hours on dry land if it can regulate its body temperature. If it has, it can cool down and stay on a good temperature, it can hold for a little bit on dry land. But because of the difficulty to actually regulate that body temperature without the help that it takes, that dolphin will die. That is the reason why finally the dolphin will not be able to live on a dry land for so long, right? In the same manner, we have some ecosystem that we cannot live in as human beings, just because we have not been raised to live in those ecosystems, and because we have been groomed and we have been raised to live in a certain way. There are some places we may not live. If we send us there, we may just, end up and not being able to readjust and just die. I'm talking about the land of commitment. How many of us know that the society we live in today, the modern world society, 21st century society, has groomed us not to be committed to anything? You probably have never thought about that. But we are so strange to commitment. You don't know what I'm talking about? Listen to me very carefully. I'm going to ask you this question. What is the thing that you are committed to right now that you know? And by the way, probably we should explain the word commitment so you can understand what I'm talking about, right? If you open your Google, you're going to notice that Google defines commitment as being a state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or an activity, right? It's an engagement also or obligation that restricts freedom of action. Commitment is an engagement or an obligation that restricts freedom of action. It means that when you are committed, you cannot just do what you want to do, right? Now, we know our society is built, is framed. We are taught in our society that we should be free. Freedom is our main word, right? Freedom. That is close to liberty, right? Liberty, you have freedom, right? Liberty. Those things are kind of close with a little bit of difference, right? So once somebody hinders us or something stand on our way to do what we want to do, it's pretty bad in our society. And that's why I was asking you the question, what is that thing that you are dedicated to right now that you know? What is the thing that you are committed to that restrict freedom of action for you right now? Nothing. Oh, somebody's going to tell me his job. No, that job, you are in that job until that supervisor does something that gets on your nerve, and you're going to kick that door and go look for another one. That's our society. There is a lack, an extreme lack of commitment, a lack of engagement in our society. And I was also telling you that our society grooms us to be like that. You got to know it. This society grooms you to be an uncommitted person. You cannot commit to nothing. The society is made like that. You want me to demonstrate it to you? Let us go, right? We are in a society right now where you are told that if you are born a man, you are free not to even be a man. I'm talking about in nature, the way you are born. They are telling you you are free not. If you feel like you don't want to be that, well, go ahead. You are not that, right? Okay, I know you thinking that I'm talking against some people. No, I'm not talking against some people. How about the people who are already at the next stage? They are at the place where they are not even a man or a woman, right? If you thought I was talking about some people, I have nothing against nobody. I'm not talking about anybody. I'm trying to point out a state of things in your society that you may not have noticed, right? We are against any type of commitment. You are not committed to nothing presently. Look at your life. Just stay and meditate on it a little bit. What are you committed to? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The people who go in some, relationships or something that needs commitment, how long do they stay inside? Because we have been groomed and raised up in a society that is against commitment. Can nobody tell you nothing? You got to be able to do what you want to do. You are free. Freedom. Freedom. You are free, right? So, right now, some of you who are listening to me, you are even actually feeling like, man, I'm about to swap this video and go. What is this guy talking about? You know why? Because you cannot commit to it, right? You are free. You only do what you want. That's what you have been taught. That's what they make you believe. That's what you know. So your ecosystem is an uncommitted ecosystem. Now, before you swap the video and go listen to me, let me tell you something. The consequence of that. The consequence of that is that you should be careful when you are trying to venture in the land of commitment. Because sometimes we leave that ecosystem, that land, the place where we have been living all our life. Our mindset has been framed into that. That's the only thing we know. And we have grown up knowing only that. And we step into a land that we may not know it is a land of commitment. So if I can take commitment because you have not been groomed to be committed to nothing, you went to school just because you were little and you could not say no to your parents. When you were really able to say no to your parents, man, and school started getting kind of hard for you or whatever, you gave up onto it. That job, when it gets on your nerve, the supervisor at the job or the manager or whatever, you give up onto it. That partner, that life partner that you wanted to have and he started getting on your nerve, you kick his butt out. You cannot be committed to nothing. Once again, commitment is an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. So your commitment should have told you not to kick his butt out of that house, not to kick his butt out of your life. Your commitment should have kept you to that job, even though things were not going at that moment as you wanted them to go. Your commitment should have kept you going to school until you have that credential and you have that training and you have this and that. Your commitment. But because you are not committed and you have not learned to be committed, commitment is something strange to you. And I'm saying that with that state of mind and state of being, we happen to venture to a land, to a neighborhood, to a country of commitment. For example, the country of marriage. How does that accident happen? That accident happened because we see our friends left and right getting married. And it looks good, when you go to the party, the time when all the responsibility when that man is fresh and he's putting the ring on his wife, or the girl is getting the ring or whatever. It looks good, right? People come and celebrate. Your friends are there. You are put into honor. It's your day, your great day. For the women, you got this long robe. You look like this fancy bride. And it is a great day. So we feel like, man, Charlotte got married. Christine got married. I wonder when I'm going to get married to. And you want to get married to, right? Real quick. Okay. But we forget that land we are entering by the bound of marriage, right, is a land of commitment. In marriage, everything is commitment. So since you are unfamiliar to commitment, let me describe it like it is a land that is filled with mines. Right? Minds on the floor, all over the place. Every step you step into marriage is a step of commitment. You probably don't understand what I'm talking about. By getting married, you committed to be patient with that person. You committed to love that person until death do you part, to not separate in good time, in bad times, and so on and so on. And for those who talk about the language of love, I always like to read this 1 Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 says, in verse 4, love is patient. So you're committed to be patient. Love is kind. You're committing to be kind. It does not envy. You commit to not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. You are not going there for self. You are going there for your partner, your spouse, right? It's not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. You are not going there to get angry as soon as that person does something against you, with something you don't like. I don't like that type of stuff. The way I grew up, I don't like it. No, it's no more about yourself. You are committing. It means that you are taking an engagement or an obligation that restricts your freedom to act. When that person does something that may anger you, you got to be able to bear now with that person. You may not bear with everybody else out. You may not have bared with your parents on that, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, but you got to bear with that person on that, right? And it goes on and on and on all the way to verse 8. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease, and so on and so on. And love will always remain forever, right? Love is eternal. That's what they say, until death do us part. Until death do us part. Death is put into this sentence to tell you that the commitment that you are taking is a sacrificial commitment. It is for life. Only death can get you out of there. And it also tells you at the same time that death can get you out of there. You didn't get me right. I said, no, it says only death can get you out of there, but it says until death do us part. I didn't invent this, because very often when you talk in a certain way on YouTube, they block your video and they say that you say this and that. I'm not saying anything here that is not safe. In marriage, they say you are linked together until death do you part. And that's what I'm talking about, right? So if somebody has to say, we got to block this video, he said that sentence, well, block all the videos of marriages that are on YouTube, because in those marriages, in those wedding ceremony, that's where I took this from, until death do you part, right? So that's what you're saying. That's the only thing that you are saying is going to get you out of there. Now, when you venture into that relationship and you are somebody who is not used to commitment, I'm just making this video once again in the language of marriage. In the last video, we talked about the mystery of marriage, the part of marriage that was in the mind of God, the one who instituted marriage at the first place in the Garden of Eden, right? Bible says he put them together. That's why man shall leave his parents and cling to his wife, and the two shall become one, right? That's why Bible continue by saying, then let no man put asunder to what God has put together, right? Now, when you go in there, do you know is commitment? You are committing to accept to sit on a table and discuss if things are not feeling good. You are committing to accept to submit sometimes. You are committing to accept to listen, to accept to be patient, to accept to bear with your spouse. You are committing, you are committing, you are committing, you are committing. Once again, I like insisting on the word, because today we are talking about the commitment part of marriage, what you are engaging yourself into, right? Commitment is an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. You are not free to act like you want because of your commitment to this spouse. So if you didn't know that and you were preparing to get married, well, now I want you to know the land where you're trying to engage yourself to go is a land of commitment. If you're not ready for that, it's not going to be a good land for you. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not going to be fun. I'm not trying to discourage you to get married. I'm trying to tell you what marriage is all about, so that as you are going there, you will know. And if you are already married and right now you are feeling bad, man, I didn't know it was like this. Look at this, or maybe it went bad. This is not it. A new wife or a new husband is not going to change anything. As soon as you get a new one, marriage is a land of commitment. So right now, forget about the new wife, the new husband, that person you're thinking you can meet or want to go to. Arrange the one you have. Just understand what I'm telling you is a land of commitment. It's something you didn't understand, right? And your body is not readjusting to the new ecosystem of commitment because your body is strange to it. That's why you're feeling the way you're feeling right now. Your body is strange to it. What have you ever been committed to? To know that what I'm talking about. What have you ever been committed to? You've never been committed to nothing. This society don't teach you to commit to nothing. And you have gone and engaged yourself in the land of commitment, and you have built your house, your domicile, in the land of commitment by getting married. That's what you did. But you are somebody who is naturally uncommitted and can't commit. So now you got to readjust to commitment. And it's something good to do. It's something good to learn, right? When you were going to school, you jumped, couldn't commit. Sometimes you will jump classes. Work, as soon as the manager gets on your nerve, you are gone. When are you going to commit to anything? This is the time you are committing to that person. So accept pull the person on the table, have a good communication, share this video with the person we have committed. Can we stay in this commitment at least for once? Ask the question to that person, have you ever committed to anything before? Maybe that person, your spouse, also has never committed to nothing. Maybe that's why your relationship is going the way it's going. And it's time to learn together. Somebody wrote a book that the title of the book, What If Marriage Was Not Made for Happiness? What if it was rather made for holiness? Right? Many people go into it because the thing is the place where you enjoy, you are happy, you got your partner and everything. No, it's not for that. It's a place where you learn commitment, the rules of commitment. God invented it for you to learn that in marriage, to learn to love. What is real love? Not a few days love, not I meet you here and we separate. We're going to meet when we want to do it again, or when we want to go out again, when we want to go to a date again. No, those who want to go to marriage, they're learning commitment, they're learning real unconditional love. You're not loving this person because they are so lovely or lovable. You're loving this person because you are committed to love them. You have made the decision to love them. That's the reason why I told my wife before we got married, I said, love is rather a decision than a feeling. Love is not a feeling. Love is a decision that somebody takes based on some facts, and if they do so, feelings shall follow. Love is a decision that you take based on some facts and some truth, and if that is done properly, feelings shall follow. So please arrange what you got. The problem you have right now, why you're feeling the way you're feeling, is because you are used to not being committed to nothing. Learn to commit. And if you don't know how to do it, please make a comment here below and also subscribe. Please share this video with somebody who is telling you that they are going through hell and hot waters in their marriage. Share this video with somebody who is about to get married and you know they may not know what we are talking about here. Share this video, subscribe, and put your comment so I can know what you think about what we shared. Remain blessed. God bless you, and see you on the next video. Thank you.